Hello, trading is closed on the 5th of August 2024. As always, we'll start with our disclaimer. We'll go over my calls. I want to review a call Norm Winsky made on the channel after Friday's close, and then we'll go over our predictions for tomorrow. It's my trading plan for tomorrow, August 6, 2024. I won't be doing any trading tomorrow. Probably won't be doing any trading for the next 2 weeks, after which I'm going to return to my normal schedule. So remember, I'm not risking my own money on this call, and any trade you make should be made at your own risk. Look for the pattern today with the early high, which is this, and Tuesday's pattern should have the early low. We said I didn't like to catch falling knives, but there was a balance of the waves at 52.66.57. I said if we printed there, at least you'd have a good stop if you wanted to try to catch the falling knife. Well, we gapped way under that, so that was never a call. That was never in play. That was killed before the open. We also said there were three numbers that should print before this decline was over. We had that number, 51.89.72, 51.58.58, and of course they all did print. I did not say that I'll print in the first 5-minute bar, which was kind of an aberration, but they all printed, so we get to cross them off the list. I mean, we have only now 2 unsatisfied MEJT targets for the whole year. We have an unusually large number from last year. And the question is, are we going to drop enough to see some of these other targets? And I'm going to reserve judgment on that for right now. As I say, last few weeks I've been busy with personal business. For right now, we have all the nearby targets that printed. I would like to go over Norm Winsky's call from last Friday. Well, here's what I said. He said had a change in trend after today's close. Now, when he has a change in trend, he buys at the next day's open, which means according to his system, he would buy right here. And if you did that, within a half hour, you were up 100 handles. It's really a remarkable call. And while we're talking about calls you've made in the past, you're always going to find some other website which after the fact is going to say that they called the move. That doesn't take any real skill. I just like to say that after Friday's close and before Monday's open, he gave a strong buy signal, one of the strongest he's ever given, to buy at Monday's open. I'm also going to remind people that right at this high, we gave a wave count that said we could drop right from the open, and that could be it. And finally, we're going to remind people that right at this low, and again before the next day's open, we gave a wave count saying the whole bear market was over. Now, we've also given some wave counts which didn't work, but they were all killed before the open, and nobody had to lose any money. Well, let's go over what happened today. We got an ultimate buy signal in the morning, and that's already played out. We had a false rally here. That's retraced, so that doesn't tell us anything. We've now broken through the support level on the daily chart, but we've also printed a bar completely under the lower Bollinger Band. It doesn't stop us from collapsing here, but I'm now looking for that. What I've read is that crashes happen only in the third wave of multiple degree, and that's not what this is. This is way overextended. Doesn't mean you won't be more overextended tomorrow, but it does behoove one to look at some other indicators. Well, that was the daily chart. Here's the weekly chart. This is Tom DeMark's TDST line on the weekly chart, 51.27 and change. Low is 51.19 and change. That's darn close. Now, support is at the line and up to 1 par under it, but the point is you're at his support level. This is a very important trend line. You ignore the actual low, draw a trend line connecting the low before it and the low after it, and we dropped right to it in a straight line. That's a support line. And so we have additional support here. And once again, either you gap under this line, which means gapping under today's low, or the line wins. If you're not going to gap under this line after hitting it in a straight line drop, it should trade higher. We counted an ABC up. Let's see how we can count the move down. Well, that's an ABC down, and C is 2.618 times A. I mean, that's C. Excuse me. That's A. I mean, you're right there. And if you look just at this last wave, you can count this as an A, B, C, and all of the subwaves work. I mean, there's a wave count that says this drop is over. We also had a huge volume. We had a VIX spike way up to 55. These things are typical of market bottoms. Now, of course, you can exceed it tomorrow. If we gap down, take this out, and get more extreme readings, that's something we can't tell. But futures are up smartly, and that's really extreme enough for me to make this a good candidate for a very short-term low. So Tuesday's pattern has the early low regardless of where we open. We drop to a significant support level in a straight line, so either we gap under today's low or support wins, which means breaks under the low without that gap aren't going to stick. And again, I think last time I looked, futures were up over 30. Up 48, well, if I don't post this fast enough, it'll be up 100 and I'm going to look pretty silly. The low of day came right at the time Norm Winsky's system predicted it would come. He's really a pro, and pros don't pound the table at bottoms or tops, but it comes on every two weeks, and I think that was one of the strongest signals he ever gave. Even though he didn't pound the table, he was pretty clear. Well, the NASDAQ McClellan oscillator is far under the lower Bollinger Band and reversing through it, which hasn't happened yet, gives a buy signal. The volatility index spiked at 55.73. That's an extreme level, showing the usually wrong option players were willing to pay through the nose for puts at the bottom. The higher this goes, the more premium option players are willing to pay for puts, and usually they'll pay the most premium at bottoms and the least premium at tops. It is a usually reliable sentiment indicator, even if it isn't a pinpoint indicator. There's support from a trend line and a weekly TDST line. There's a wave count compatible with a low, a bottom, for now at least. So unless we gap under today's low, I expect higher prices to print tomorrow. Futures are up strongly, adding credibility to the call. So I'm going to call a low here, and if we gap under it, I'm just wrong. I don't think I am, but I've been wrong before. I'm not going to risk my own money on it, and I won't risk my own money on trades for the next 2 weeks because I'm not going to be around to close them out if I'm wrong, which can happen. There should be a good rally here. The real question is this going to be tested again? I'm not going to commit myself to that, but when you have a straight line drop such as we had, unless something else transpires, unless you see something going on, which you can't rule out, drops like this tend to be retested again, but that doesn't mean we have to undercut that low. And again, I'm just taking this a day at a time, and I'm calling this the low unless we gap under it, and we're already up 48 handles, so I don't think that's much of a call, but that's what I'm going to say, and that's today's call.